Now, I recently found this very sweet book. It's Watercolor in the Woods by Jane Carkill, and it says paint a whimsical world of forest animals, botanicals, toadstools and more. Now, I really loved the illustrations on the cover. They reminded me of the picture books I loved as a child, especially the Beatrix Potter books and the wildflower books that I had. So I really wanted to have a look inside, and it is just full of these beautiful realistic illustrations. Now, it was published in 2024 by Page Street Publishing, and it's a paperback with 192 pages. Now, we start off with the table of contents. We have introduction, tips and techniques for success in watercolour, fanciful fauna, in the air, foraged finds, woodland insects and forest flora. So we've got animals, birds, berries, toadstools, insects, butterflies and flowers. Now, we also have templates, full-size templates for each of the 30 projects. So if you're not confident at drawing, you can take away the stress of drawing by tracing the template and getting on with your painting. Now, we have the introduction by the author, and she does mention that you do need to practice your painting and your drawing, and she also suggests that you should be gentle and have some patience, and they're very good things to remember when you're starting off painting. And if you are new to watercolour, I would suggest that you practice your colour mixing and the different textures on a piece of paper, and use the same type of paper that you're going to use for your finished picture, because it will help you see the realistic colours and effects. So we start off with the tips and techniques with all the things that you'll need before you start. We have a section here on the paints. Now, this is a colour chart for Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolour, but you can just use this for reference and use whichever paints you have when you start out. Now we have here the colour mixing and all the different techniques. So if you've been painting for a little while, this will all be very familiar to you, and if you are quite new, then you really need to read all this very carefully and practice again. So we have here the fanciful fauna. Now, each little project, it has a little bit about the animal or the subject, it has all the materials, and then we have these step-by-step instructions. So we start off with the outline, where you can either draw yourself or use a template. And I would suggest, especially if you're new to watercolour, that you have practiced getting the colours right on your spare piece of paper, because it is very difficult colour mixing when you're new. So just have a little practice, and you don't have to be absolutely 100% the same as the colours in here. Just get as close as you can when you're starting out, and you can always improve on each time you do a painting. You can improve on the colours and the textures. And I do find it really helpful when you're new to practice the subject more than once until you're happy with the results. So here we go with a hedgehog. Now I will just flip through these quite quickly. Wild rabbit, adorable red squirrel, a barn owl. But you can see they're quite detailed, and I would also suggest before you start each project you read it all the way through. Make sure you understand everything, because that's the key to actually getting good results. A sweet little mouse. So I'm going to flick through quickly, because I just want to actually show you how beautiful the illustrations are. Just so absolutely charming. And I found that going through this book, it was such a really relaxing read. It did feel quite gentle and reminiscent of the memories of childhood, of me looking at my picture books. And I think the fact we've got the realistic illustrations, it's a lovely way to start off. And look at all these lovely mushrooms here, the toadstools. So there's all sorts of different woodland subjects in here. So you can start really, I think, on whichever subject you like and work, or you can start at the beginning and work your way through. entirely up to you. I always find that it's good to actually pick a subject that really inspires you. So if you start a project and you're not too happy with it, I mean, you can keep practicing it, but rather than give up in despair, I would actually just move on to another project, and you can come back to the original one. But here we go, lovely, lovely illustrations. The book is not too big, so it is a book that you can take out and about with you. And here we have the templates at the back for you if you're not confident at drawing. All there. And then we have some acknowledgements, but you can see how beautiful these illustrations are. A little bit about the author. She also has an Etsy shop called Little Lamb. Oh, sorry, Lamb Little. Trust me to get that wrong. Lamb Little. An index. And there we go. That's the end of the book. But a really, really beautiful book on woodland projects. Really so wonderful. I just found this by accident, and sometimes the most surprising books just turn up by accident.